Hello class. Today I would like to talk a little bit about our rhetorical analysis essay. This is our first essay of English 105, and so some of us may be a little hesitant or unsure of how to get started. So in order to help allay any worries or concerns we have, I wanted to talk real briefly about the topic, the structure, and how a sample essay might look. So for this essay, you're going to be looking at the CDC's website on ADHD, and you're going to be looking at how well that website uses ethos, pathos, and logos. Those are the three major rhetorical appeals that Aristotle taught us about. Ethos is the perceived credibility of the speaker, pathos is the emotional appeal to the reader, and logos is the logical appeal to the audience. So, as we take a look at this sample essay I've pulled up for you, we'll see that it is written in the GCU style template. You'll see that the student's name comes first. In this example, the Incredible Hulk wrote the essay. Shocking, right? Who knew he could type? And then you'll have the class next, followed by the date that you submitted the paper, and that is written all out in words, so it would be the month, day, and the year, written out completely, and then your instructor's name. The next line will have a title. Now for this essay, it's very easy to just say Rhetorical Analysis of the CDC, or something like that, but that's a very boring title, and so we want to try and engage our reader. The title is the chance for us to really capture our reader's attention right off the bat, so we want something that tells a little bit about what the topic is, and still hooks that interest. When you're thinking about writing a title, think about a movie title. It doesn't give everything away, but it makes some interesting points. It might be attention-grabbing. So that's what we want to look for in the title of our essay. After that, as we look through this essay, you'll see that in the intro paragraph, first paragraph of the essay, context is provided for the topic. So you give a little bit of background. You can talk about the CDC, you can talk a little bit about ADHD, and then it might be helpful to talk a little bit about who Aristotle was and what rhetoric is. All of that's going to narrow our focus down. It's going to create a funnel. So we start with big ideas at the top, and we narrow to a very specific thesis statement at the bottom of that funnel. And you'll see here the thesis statement is the ADHD website created by the CDC successfully discusses the diagnosis and treatment of ADHD while effectively relating to the reader with the use of ethos, pathos, and logos. Now, the essential parts of the thesis statement for this essay are that you talk about how well ethos, pathos, and logos are being used. This thesis is a great example of clearly talking about rhetoric and giving the context that we'll be analyzing the rhetoric in, which is the CDC's website on ADHD. So from this thesis statement, you know exactly what the essay is going to be about. You can guess that the body paragraphs are going to be about ethos, pathos, and logos because it follows our traditional listing thesis format. So this thesis is a really good representation of what you want to do in your essays. If you continue down the essay, you'll see that the first paragraph is all about ethos, credibility. So we have a topic sentence. The topic sentence is the first sentence of each paragraph, and that's going to provide some context and give the reader a hint about what the paragraph's main topic is. So this one says that the CDC commands the respect of the American public, which then leads into the specific appeal that we're going to be talking about in this paragraph, which is ethos. So we want to have one major idea in each body paragraph. The major idea of this paragraph is going to be ethos. So you're going to introduce the idea of ethos. You're going to talk about how the CDC's website about ADHD proves that it uses ethos, and then you're going to wrap it all up at the end by saying that the ethos was effective or ineffective, if you'd like to make that argument, and then you create a transition that moves you into the next paragraph. So this transition is a great example because the author says, by establishing trust of their expertise, the CDC conveys a sense of security to families who may be stressed or concerned. That's wrapping up ethos well. And then it hints at the topic of the next paragraph when it says, but they also offer an emotional bond with the use of pathos. This lets the reader know that pathos will be the topic of the next paragraph. Clear transitions like that are essential for a well-organized essay. Once again, you'll see that there's a topic sentence that tells the reader what appeal is going to be talked about in this paragraph. Pathos is the topic of this paragraph. Then the author spends time talking about how pathos is used in the website. The author gives specific cited examples, which you will also need to do in your essay. And then the author, once again, wraps it all up with a nice transition that says this paragraph was all about pathos, the next one is all about logos. And as you can see, there are some errors in the paper. There we go. Haha, fixed it. All right, and then our third body paragraph in this essay is going to be all about the one remaining appeal that we haven't talked about, and that would be logos. So we have a topic sentence once again. The body paragraph gives us examples of logos on the CDC's website on ADHD, and then we have a nice transition down here once again at the bottom that wraps up our ideas really nicely. Finally, our last paragraph of the essay is a conclusion paragraph, which means that this is going to take all of our ideas, wrap them up in a nice bow, and make them easy for the reader to understand why the CDC wanted to use rhetoric and how it was effective in using that rhetoric. So, we want to make sure that we talk about ethos, pathos, and logos once again at the beginning of our paragraph. We reference the CDC and ADHD website and show once again how it uses all of those appeals. And then we wrap it up with a nice little call to action to the reader. This is our chance to say why this is important to know, why it's important for people to use rhetoric, why it's important that a recognized government website like the CDC uses rhetoric. All of that, we want to let the reader know why this is something that's worth, first of all, writing an essay about and then reading the essay about. And finally, we want to have our references page. We know that the references are in APA format, so you're going to want to make sure that you're using the OWL Purdue website or any of the citation generators like KnightCite that I've posted in our discussion boards and on our class website. You'll notice that references is centered. You'll notice that the sources are alphabetized. And you'll notice that each source has a hanging indent. So if the source is more than 2 lines long, the second line gets indented 1 tab space or 1/2 inch. You'll notice that that happens for all of these sources here. You'll also notice that the references has its own page. That's going to be essential to getting full marks for GCU and APA formatting. So those are the basics of the rhetorical analysis essay. You're going to be looking at the CDC's website on ADHD, and you're going to be writing an analysis saying how well that website uses ethos, pathos, and logos. For more help, more tips, and more support, go ahead and check out our class website at www.wortley105.weebly.com, and that link is also posted in our discussion boards from week 1. The discussion board week 1, part 2, you'll see that there's a link to our website there. So go ahead, go to that link. Sample essays are posted there, sample outlines are posted there, as well as PowerPoints that help talk more about rhetoric and how well you can use it in your analysis. All right, good luck, happy writing, and I look forward to reading your essays.